He is possibly the most famous Formula 1 pilot of the 1960s and at the same time the idol for many following icons in his sport. Jim Clark, the calm champion with style. Jim Clark was born on the 4th of May 1936 in Scotland, as the son of a farmer with much land. With just 80 years, he started to take place in regional rallies, agility competitions and sprint races. Clark started as a test driver of Team Lotus in the late 50s, for which he drove his entire career. All that came about thanks to one of the best known mechanics and the team leader of Team Lotus, Colin Chapman. In the same year, Jim Clark drove his first race in the Formula 1 in the Grand Prix of the Netherlands 1960 in Zandvoort. He started on the 11th place and could fight his way to the 5th place, but he turned off his Lotus 18 in round 42 due to a missing power transmission. In his second race in the Grand Prix of Belgium, 2 drivers died in a collision and he finished the race with the 5th place, but after the race he said, "I thought of stopping at the pits and give up racing." In the same year, he drove his first place on the podium, the 3rd place to be exact. Clark could secure this place with less than 5 seconds lead ahead of the German gentleman Wolfgang Graf Berger von Trips in the Ferrari. In the season of 1961, Clark managed to stand twice more on the 3rd place in the Netherlands and France. In the second last race of the season in the Grand Prix of Italy in Monza, Clark was involved in one of the most terrible crashes of the Formula 1 history. Wolfgang von Trips was just about to win his first world championship, but because his start didn't go as planned, he drove between life and death and collided with Clark on the driveway to the Parabolica. Wolfgang von Trips died, as well as 50 other people, but Clark could escape his wreck with the name Lotus 21 without any injuries. (1962) was a far more successful year for Clark. He could gain 3 victories. He won his first victory in the Grand Prix of Belgium on the Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps. During the race, the rain was strong and many crashes happened. Jim Clark was able to show his full power. He managed to get from the 8th to the 1st place before the first turn. The rain got stronger in the progress of the race and Clark drove a few seconds faster than his rivals. When he drove past the finish line, he had left the remaining field of 8 drivers except Bruce McLaren on the 2nd place, but he was still almost 5 minutes ahead of him. Furthermore, Clark drove on May 27 in 1962 in the 1000 km race on the Nürburgring on the Nordschleife. There, he drove in extreme rain with his 110 horsepower strong Lotus 23, a lead of 1 minute and 41 seconds, and left the 270 horsepower and 390 horsepower strong rivals from Ferrari far behind. However, he crashed in lap 11 and got uncautious due to the exhaust gases of his car. Surprisingly, he remained unharmed. In 1963, he finally fulfilled his dream. He won his first world championship with 54 points and a big lead toward the 2 vice world champions Graham Hill and Richie Ginter with 29 points each. After he only got the 1st place in World Championship because of countless malfunctions in the year 1964, he won his 2nd and last World Champion title in 1965. Clark only took part in 9 of 10 races because with 54 points he was unassailable. He only finished 7th of these 9 races, but 6th with the 1st place. In 1965 he also drove as a guest driver in the Indianapolis 500, the most important oval race in the world. Even though he didn't have any knowledge of it, he won the prestigious race and said in an interview about his victory,
"Well, I just drove a left turn 600 times.
In the season of 1966, the capacity of the race cars was doubled. Because of this, Clark's Lotus 43 was very heavy due to the V16 engine. Nevertheless, Clark won the race of the USA with it. This is still the only Grand Prix victory with this engine. In the following season of 1967, the most successful engine of the history of motorsport appeared, the Ford Cosworth DFV V8, which helped Clark and his teammate Graham Hill to drive all fastest times in the season with up to 9 seconds lead. Furthermore, Clark drove one of his best races in the Grand Prix of Italy in Monza. Clark was in the lead and had to stop at the pits, where he lost a whole lap. He caught up and took the lead again, but his fuel pump didn't work anymore at the end of the race and he finished with only 3rd place. This race is often called one of the most amazing races in the history of Formula 1. With that, it's on the same level as the incredible victory drives of Juan Manuel Fangio in the Grand Prix of Germany 1957 and of Stirling Moss in the Grand Prix of Germany 1961. In the first race of the season 1968, on the 1st of January, Clark could secure the pole position in the qualifying with more than a second lead ahead of Graham Hill. The race went by without any problems and he won. Nobody knew that this would be Jim Clark's last crossing of the finish line in Formula 1. On the 7th of April 1968, Clark drove an unimportant Formula 2 race on the Hockenheimring. He didn't want to take place in the race to begin with, but he did it anyway due to his loyalty to Colin Chapman. A serious mistake. He got off the track in the 5th lap, probably because of a flat tire, and flew in the forest, which covered the side of the track. An eyewitness said that Clark's Lotus overturned 4 times and finally crashed sideways into the trees. Clark was dead immediately. After the race, a minute of silence was held for him. Since 2005, the yearly Clark Memorial Race named Jim Clark Rival takes place. In addition, the Jim Clark Memorial Rally is held in Clark's hometown Fife in Scotland. There were countless sad reactions to the death, even from famous drivers. Juan Manuel Fangio, who won the World Championship 5 times, said for example that Jim Clark was by far the best driver of all time and
He was better than me.
Furthermore, the Ferrari pilot Chris Amon announced,
"We all thought the same. If it even hit Jimmy, which chance do us others have to get out alive?"
The world champion of 1962, 1971 and 1973, Jackie Stewart said,
"Jim Clark was the only driver I feared."
What's more, Stirling Moss, 4 times vice world champion and 3 times third, said about Clark,
Jim Clark won 1963 and 1965 the World Championship because he was the greatest, and lost 1962 and 1967 because he drove a Lotus.
Jim Clark was doubtless a genius driver who has incredible high scores and records to register. Overall, he was only twice world champion, drove 25 victories out of 72 Grand Prix starts in the Formula 1 and stood 32 times on the podium. With that, Clark had the 3rd best victory quota of all Formula 1 drivers, with 34.7% after Juan Manuel Fangio with 24 victories, a total of 51 races and a quota of 47%, and Lee Wallard with a quota of 50%. But Wallard only took place in 2 races, the Indianapolis 500, which belonged to the Formula 1 World Championship at the time, but only Americans participated in it. So he isn't treated like a real Formula 1 driver. In his entire career, Clark reached 33 pole positions and 27 fastest laps, and he accomplished 11 hat-tricks. A hat-trick consists out of 3 victories in a row, so Clark has the 2nd most hat-tricks after Michael Schumacher, who reached 22 hat-tricks, but has 4 times the amount of races. With 8 Grand Slams, Clark has the most. If a driver is in the lead for an entire race, it's called a Grand Slam, meaning he must start from the pole position and must not get passed in a pit stop. On his gravestone you can find the writing, "Here lies the farmer and gentleman from Addington, Mass, Surrenside and from Pembroke, Bermuda, winner of 25 Grand Prix and the 500 miles of Indianapolis, first and only freeman of Burgh of Duns." And that was it. I hope you enjoyed my first English video called Who Was Jim Clark? If it does, I would be very glad about some likes, and write in the comments what do you think about Jim Clark and what I could improve in my next video. Thank you for watching, and I would say goodbye, your Rocky.